Hello and welcome to Grundkurs Englisch. Das Schönste am Reisen ist das Heimkommen. Especially when you get a welcome like I did. I've got great friends. More about my return later in this episode. Carolyn will welcome us with the participle clauses, den Partizipialsätzen. But now, it's time for a little literature. Today's piece is also about a homecoming. You might know the name Mark Twain. Sound familiar? Well, that's him. He is famous for his books about the adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. But Mark Twain actually wrote much more. He was a traveler, and he loved to write about his journeys. During Twain's travels across Europe, Mr. Twain took the challenge to learn German. Through his learning experiences with the Germanic language, he wrote an essay titled The Awful German Language, Die schreckliche deutsche Sprache. As learners of the English language, you can sympathize with Mr. Twain, although his choice for a second language, German, is a bit more difficult. But the English language has its traps too. Good thing there's a cowboy around.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know where the VC is?
D.C. You go down Highway 95 to Washington, D.C., it'll take you about 3 or 4 hours, depending on the traffic.
You misunderstood me. VC. V as in Walter and C as in Caesar.
First of all, my name is not Walter. Second of all, we don't serve Caesar salad around here. And third of all, if you don't like the way I just explained it to you, ask the next fella down the road.
I think it's time to call a cowboy. Hey, cowboy. I have a problem communicating. Can you please come to the rescue?
Okay, I'm coming to the rescue. Seems to be the problem, sir.
Ich will diesen Mann fragen, wo hier das WC ist. Ich muss unglaublich dringend auf die Toilette und der junge Mann hier versteht mich nicht. Ich habe ihn gefragt, wo das WC ist und er will mich immer nach Washington, D.C. schicken oder mir Salat verkaufen. Der versteht mich einfach nicht und ich muss echt dringend auf die Toilette.
Kein Problem. Erstens, Toilette auf britisch Englisch heißt Toilet. Beispiel, ich muss dringend aufs Klo. I have to use the toilet. Und zweitens, Toilette auf amerikanischem Englisch heißt Restroom. Beispiel, ich muss kurz auf die Toilette. I have to go to the restroom.
Thank you, cowboy. Now I know the difference between toilet and restroom, but I still don't know where the restroom is.
Well, the restroom's there right around the corner. But hold your horse, partner, because there's one thing I need to tell you. If you find yourself in a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. The second thing you do is call a cowboy. That was a close call for our Bavarian in Boston. I sure hope he made it to the restroom, or toilet, or whatever you call it. Now, from the wild, wild west, we travel to the far, far east. While Mark Twain traveled the Far East because of his book reading tours, he ended up writing about his journeys. Here is a piece from Following the Equator I would like to read for you. To my mind, the exterior aspects and character of Australia are fascinating things to look at and think about. They are so strange, so weird, so new, so uncommonplace, such as a startling and interesting contrast to other sections of the planet. It's time that we have a look at this strange and startling place in our Into the English World. Enjoy.
It's the smallest of all the continents in the world, but the 6th largest country on Earth, Australia. The Commonwealth of Australia is situated in the Southern Hemisphere. The Australians themselves simply call it Oz. The Commonwealth of Australia was formed in 1901, when 6 independent British colonies agreed to join together and become states of a new nation. Considering its size, relatively few people live here. With a good 22 million inhabitants, Australia is the sparsest populated continent on Earth. That's basically just 2 inhabitants per square kilometre. 50,000 years before British colonialists arrived, the native inhabitants lived here. There were around 600 different Aboriginal clans spread over the whole island, living in harmony with nature. Right up to the present day, many social conflicts remain for the descendants of Australia's original inhabitants. Modern-day Australia is an ethnic melting pot. More than 6 million people from all around the world have settled here since 1945. They mainly live in the 2 megacities, Melbourne and Sydney. The capital is Canberra, the seat of government. Head of state is the British Crown. Outside in the outback, there's a melting pot boiling over too, the animal life. Particularly well known and loved is this springing mascot, the kangaroo. Not so loved by farmers though, because the marsupial likes to satisfy its hunger in their fields.
Did you know that some kangaroos are 1 meter 80 centimeters tall? Traveling to a place like Australia must have been a real adventure in the late 18th century. Today, thanks to TV and internet, we at least know what is waiting for us. Still, my trip to the US was an adventure as well, and being back in Germany gave me a home sweet home feeling. Before we have a look at my homecoming, I think a quick word from Carolyn is in order.
It is, Eric, it is. Denn bevor wir uns in Erics heimatgefühlsduselige Rückkehr stürzen, möchte ich noch ein paar Grammatikhinweise loswerden. Wie Eric ja bereits angekündigt hat, geht es heute um die Partizipialsätze. Davon werden wir in dem Film gleich einige geliefert bekommen. Zuvor noch ein paar Worte zum Thema Partizip. Das brauchen wir nämlich für die Partizipialsätze. Es gibt 2 Arten von Partizipien, das Present Participle und das Past Participle. Klären wir erst einmal, was ein Partizip, auf Deutsch Mittelwort, eigentlich ist. Diese Beispiele machen es vielleicht deutlicher. Ein fallendes Blatt. Ist fallendes nun ein Adjektiv oder ein Verb? Es ist weder noch. Es steht in der Mitte von beiden, deshalb Mittelwort. Es partizipiert an beiden. Partizip also. Ein englisches Beispiel, a falling leaf. Falling ist ein Present Participle. Das Mittelwort der Vergangenheit, das Past Participle, ist genauso in der Mitte zwischen Adjektiv und Verb. Ein Beispiel auf Deutsch, das gefallene Mädchen. Und auf Englisch, the fallen girl. Jetzt schauen wir uns noch mal an, wie die Mittelwörter der Gegenwart und Vergangenheit auf Englisch gebildet werden. Das Present Participle ist die ing-Form, das Past Participle die ed-Form bzw. die unregelmäßige Vergangenheitsform des Verbs. Jetzt kommen wir auch schon zu den Partizipialsätzen, den Participle Clauses. Wenn ein Satzteil mit Hilfe eines Partizips gekürzt oder mehrere Sätze miteinander verbunden werden, dann spricht man von einem Partizipialsatz. Eigentlich ganz logisch. Halten Sie nach diesen Sätzen im folgenden Film Ausschau.
Where were you? Having waited an hour at the airport, I decided to take the S-Bahn to the main station. I tried calling you.
I'm so sorry, Eric. I didn't hear my alarm and I overslept. I especially went to bed early so I could get up at an ungodly hour today. It's the weekend, honey. Working people have the weekends to sleep in and recover from a hard work week. And I had a horrible week. So, please forgive me. I invite you for breakfast, okay? Are you fine with that?
Well, for breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgive you.
Thank you.
Although my figure has changed a bit since the last time you saw me. from eating all those hamburgers, pizzas, and apple pies. But I'm always up for breakfast.
You're still sexy, honey. I missed you too. So how was your flight?
The service provided to me was awesome. The food was delicious, the flight attendants were really helpful, and the movies were great.
Which movies did you watch?
Believe it or not, Batman Returns. The second movie had something to do with pigs in space. I don't know, it's nothing to talk about. I fell asleep in the first 10 minutes of the film. People are so nice in Boston.
You're a lucky one. Fred told me about your house keys.
Yeah, I was in such a rush to get to the airport. Having left the apartment, I realized that I forgot my keys. I locked myself out.
Although leaving without your house keys, you went to the airport anyway?
Yeah, what was I supposed to do? Miss my flight? I called up my roommate and I told him to put the keys underneath the doormat on the day that I arrive.
You're lucky. You have a nice roommate you can rely on.
Yeah, I know. He is a nice guy. Hey, what about that breakfast you promised me?
Oh, we have almost reached our destination.
Also wirklich kein Verlass auf diese Frauen. Der arme Mann musste ganz alleine Bahn fahren. Grausam. Aber er hat ihr ja vergeben und wir analysieren das Ganze mal grammatikalisch. Ich sagte ja bereits, dass Partizipialsätze dazu dienen, Satzteile zu kürzen oder Sätze zu verbinden. Im Englischen wird das hauptsächlich in der Schriftsprache gemacht, um möglichst viele Informationen in einem Satz unterzubringen. Im Deutschen verwenden wir eigentlich kaum Partizipialsätze, weil sie doch recht geschwollen klingen. Zum Beispiel: Der Moderator, in Amerika geboren, wurde in Deutschland ein Star. Das hört sich irgendwie nicht so richtig gut an, oder? Aber nun zu den englischen Partizipialsätzen. Hier ist mal einer vom Eric.
Having waited an hour at the airport, I decided to take the S-Bahn to the main station.
Man kann alle möglichen Sätze zu Partizipialsätzen machen und sie damit verkürzen. Hier wird der Zeitbezug gekürzt. So könnte der Satz in Langform aussehen. After I had waited for an hour at the airport. Das after fällt weg und aus I had waited wird having waited. Man könnte übrigens auch waiting sagen. Having waited, I decided. Sätze oder Satzteile mit after, while, before oder when können durch Partizipien verbunden oder auch verkürzt werden. Dabei können die Zeitbezüge bleiben oder nicht. Manchmal sind sie für das Verständnis allerdings ganz hilfreich. Hier zum Beispiel: Starting, the plane made a terrible noise. Der fürchterliche Lärm des Flugzeugs kann nun während, nach oder vor dem Start sein. Das ist prinzipiell immer unerfreulich, aber vor dem Start könnte man ja vielleicht auch noch aussteigen. Hier hilft also die zeitliche Einordnung. Und die sähe dann so aus: Before starting, the plane made a terrible noise. Okay. Weiter im Text. Die Konjunktionen as, because und since müssen weggelassen werden, wenn ein Partizipialsatz gebildet wird. Das Gleiche gilt übrigens für die Relativpronomen who und which im Nominativ bei Passivsätzen.
The service provided to me was awesome.
The service which was provided to me was awesome. Dann haben wir hier einmal das which. Das Relativpronomen fällt, wie besprochen, weg und aus was provided wird das Past Participle provided. The service provided to me was awesome.